There is a subtle genius to Lethal Company. It's something that is impossible to see from the main title screen, impossible to identify in your first hour of the game, and stays hidden until you've dedicated countless hours into the game. The indie horror spectacle of Lethal Company has taken the world by storm, and for good reason. But at a first glance, it doesn't seem like a game that should be able to achieve that. It has a limited scope, an extremely simple premise, and has graphics that look atrocious. On the outside looking in, I also believed that this game probably wasn't going to be for me. So when I played it for the first time, and the incredible comedic timing, pacing, and atmosphere of the game kept me at my desk for hours, I knew this game was something special. So as the hours passed and the game nights grew longer, and the graphics grew on me too in their artistic quality, I was taken aback to find a hidden beauty to this game, and a hidden terror as well.
Fucking hell!
What does that do?
Damn it!
He's coming out.
No!
There are bees.
Fuck!
How exactly do you create a proper game atmosphere? It's kind of a difficult question to answer, with no specific formula necessarily applying to all games. For instance, the Halo games achieved an incredible atmosphere through the use of detailed skyboxes, empty landscapes, and ambient sounds. It was a series that defined how atmosphere could change games and was groundbreaking in its method. Now, go to the opposite side of the spectrum with a smaller scale game like Life is Strange. The atmosphere of this game's coming of age, mystery, and supernatural story derives itself from a drawn art style, choppy frame rate, and unique feel. Its environments aren't barren, instead filled with beauty and the simple things of life. These games are completely different in style and feel, yet both have incredible atmospheres. But beyond visuals and budget, there is a common motif between these two stories. A soundtrack that perfectly encapsulates how it feels to be in their worlds. With Lethal Company, it is almost assumed that you're going to be playing with friends.
It's not in there, son. It's over this.
The game forces you into a proximity chat system, its enemies are handled through teamwork, and comedy is best served to groups. While running through buildings and scrounging for pieces of junk, your conversations with friends are what energizes the play session. You hear screams of terror, laughs while dancing, and basic communication while you run through pitch black corridors. For 90% of the game, there is always someone talking. And although it is scary when you are staring down a coil head while your friend tries to direct you walking backwards, this game shows its true colors when you are the only person left alive. When all you can hear are your footsteps and ambient sounds, and the safety of laughter has all but disappeared. In order to go into more detail, we need to establish the two different atmospheres this game relies on. The first is the exterior environment. This is when you're walking to the facility, trying to desperately get back to your ship in time, or hopelessly wandering through the pixelated landscapes. The second environment is the interior, the metal hallways that extend into the abyss, mazes of corridors, and poorly lit storage areas. These two environments have incredibly different feels, and thus the music for these scenes matches perfectly. The feeling of these atmospheres is immediate to the player as soon as they start the game, telling them everything they need to know before they even meet their first quota. However, This effect stays subconscious for the majority of sessions, being covered up by the chaotic conversations that ensue within the crew. The first time I played this game, I had no idea that there even really was music to listen to. I knew there were ambient sounds and that helped make it scary, but I never heard the subtle beauty of this game until I found myself roaming alone, which didn't happen too often. I was way too scared at the beginning to do anything of that nature. But with any good piece of media, the music is going to help the audience feel the space. And it certainly does its job. If you have found yourself like me and wandering the outside areas of these moons, you may have noticed the quiet piano music that begins to fade into your ears. The piano is slightly out of tune with extra reverb, putting emphasis on the openness of these environments while still being slightly off-putting. The out-of-tune keys clash against one another to create a unique timbre, one that sounds beautiful but slightly wrong. As with everything else that creates this game, it is all subtly implied. The monsters don't constantly show up at first, the game's story lies hidden within audio logs, and the music subtly introduces itself only when you are willing to listen. The piano melody itself is sporadic and unpredictable, never really giving the listener a chance to feel comfortable. Along with this ambient music, the piano also has a practical use, signaling the start of the day, midday, late day, and night. Each audio cue is only a couple seconds long, and each one represents exactly how the player should feel. With each time interval piece, they are composed to represent the chiming of a clock. As they progress, they become darker in sound, giving the player a subconscious change in attitude towards the conditions they are in. Through the player's time in the outside environment, the music creates a sublime feel, equally balancing terror with beauty. As the stars dwindle above you and you're out of the claustrophobic spaces of these moons, the game wants you to feel more safe, just not for too long. However, the real horror of the game finds itself in our next environment, the interior. When I first entered through the doors into the metal hellscape of this game, the first thing that caught my attention was how quiet it was when I went through that door. As the metal screeched closed behind me, it was just a quiet whir of the fan overhead and darkness. As with the music directing how the player should feel, the absence of music can be just as powerful. For a first impression, this game achieves this beautifully, showing the player the isolation of being inside while juxtaposing the beauty of the outside. In the interior, the game doesn't have a song specifically for it, instead relying heavily on ambience. Nice, ambience. On ambience. Every once in a while, or ambiance? Is it ambiance? Every once in a while, a piano cue might find its way into the background, playing at random. Rarely, you even will get a musical cue when you enter the interior, with the manor levels and facility levels having their own, respectively. However, these piano nods quickly fade into the quiet hum of the environment. So, I know what you're thinking. Why is the interior so important in this essay if it doesn't even have that much music? Well, viewer, what is fascinating about the interior isn't the use of typical musical atmosphere, but instead the reliance on the inhabitants to provide the music. Oh god! There really isn't a good way to define the Jester. Everyone had been telling me how terrifying this creature was, how it chased them down and they couldn't outrun it, but when I saw its goofy-looking body and silent presence, I felt more unnerved than terrified. And then it started winding itself up. And I can't tell you how great this choice was in horror. The song starts off like the normal Jack-in-the-Box melody before falling into chaotic madness, speeding up and raising its bass presence to tap into the natural human mind frame that something big is about to happen. And when it finally pops, there is nothing more dooming than the sound of its footsteps crunching the metal beneath its feet. Oh god, oh god, oh god, oh god! Oh fuck! Oh fuck!
You shit.
What is so incredible about this creature is how silent it starts out, appearing next to the player with no audio cue at all. And then over a slow wind-up, the audio is so loud it can be heard throughout the interior, ringing off the hallways and shaking the floor. It is by far one of my favorite enemies in any horror game and perfectly balances the gritty look with the subtlety of its atmosphere. The next enemy is one that was added recently, the Nutcracker.
I have 2 masks on me.
Creature.
Nutcracker. Oh my god.
Although it isn't quite as dramatic as the Jester's theme, it certainly still has its presence felt with its loud drumming and ear-piercing frequency. Similar to the Jester as well, it follows a similar motif of being a broken toy, almost as if its speakers aren't functioning properly to create a high-pitched drone. However, it is sometimes difficult to pick up on everything this creature provides while its shotgun blasts your eardrums out. The Nutcracker at first to me seemed like an enemy that was just going to stick around for the holiday season and be more of a joke character than anything else. But after a few run-ins with it, it has quickly turned into one of the more terrifying characters for me. I believe that the only reason this really is possible is because of its presence in the interior, achieved through its haunting sound design. Which finally brings us to the creature that has the exact opposite of presence, the Ghost Girl.
What is that? Tyler! What the... What?
Instead of rattling the metal beneath you or blowing up your friends, the Ghost Girl appears rarely and often out of sight at first.
What are you
I am
talking
not
about?
kidding, I just saw a little girl.
What?
Bro, did you not see that? I'm done. No, I am not. Bro, I am not fucking with you. There was a... Dude, there she is! She's right behind you! You don't see her? Nah, I'm done with this game.
While she dances around your space, luring you into a deranged game of hide and seek, her ghostly song plays, the chiming of bells. It's a simple melody, one that is often first paired with death. What wonderful foreshadowing. There truly is nothing more terrifying than hearing distant church bells while running for your life down empty corridors in the darkness. All of these creatures add a new variation to the atmosphere of the interior, using the power of music to heighten their horror. And through this, it leaves the player with memories they won't ever forget.
See if I got any bitches texting me.
Bro, what is going on?
Where is
My
it
phone's
at?
just spinning around. They're not teleporting him. They're not teleporting him. That's why.
Oh.
The more and more that I play this game, I find myself becoming fixated on the musical presence of the game's core mechanics. From roaming around through the exterior looking for storyline clues, to sitting in the darkness of the interior, it feels like the game is starting to show a different personality to me. After I have laughed, screamed, panicked, and hid, this game is starting to evolve from just being simple into being convoluted. Part of this is that I'm more brave now than I was before, willing to venture out on my own to find the last pieces of scrap my team needs. And it is in these moments where it feels like I'm playing a completely different game. One that isn't a comedic horror game, but a reflective hellscape. It shouldn't feel peaceful, but sometimes it does. It shouldn't feel depressing, but sometimes it does. It all just feels like a bad dream. There seems to be a common motif throughout this entire game's music, and it's pretty obvious to point out. This game revolves around childhood. The three creatures that have songs are all deranged mutations of childhood symbols. The pieces of scrap you find on the ground are often toys, hairbrushes, or other child items. Even the dropship that delivers your tools plays the ice cream truck theme, one that brings us all back to long summer days and hot asphalt. It isn't anything new combining horror with childhood, often playing on the idea that our childhood imaginations create the scariest things in this world. But this game provides a bizarre balance between childhood themes and adult themes, with the music subtly implying how the player should feel. What makes this game's music unique is its ability to create atmosphere while simultaneously lacking presence, only playing at specific moments or as ambient music in the background. As opposed to a game like Halo or Life is Strange, Lethal Company doesn't hold your hand with its score. In fact, it doesn't even show you its full complexity when you're first playing the game. It expects you to become brave, or careless enough to find its secrets. And it's genius. Thank you so much for watching. Up on screen now, you can find my supporters. Without them, none of this would be possible. If you are interested, more funny clips from me and my friends playing this game can be found in a separate video for monthly subscribers. It's $5 a month, and all proceeds go directly into the channel. Now, get back to work. The company needs you.
As you have not met the profit quota, your performance has been deemed below standard. Welcome to our disciplinary process.